Greetings, me lads and lassies. I want be gold. It is I, your tour guide to the horror sci-fi side, me, Preston E. And since it be St. Patty's Day, I decide to do an accent for you and recall the Leprechaun movies from least to greatest, because I'm very certain I am unique and nobody else be doing this on St. Patty's Day. Holy shillelagh, let's do this. All right, I'm losing the accent. First up, we have a movie that's not really in the canon of the original Leprechaun movies called Leprechaun Oranges. Make that Leprechaun Origins. That's right, it has nothing to do with fruit. This is the first of the movies in the Leprechaun franchise that does not have Warwick Davis as Seamus P. McTierney. As a matter of fact, Seamus P. McTierney isn't even in it at all. This movie does not capture the corny and lighthearted spirit of the original franchise, but instead goes for a darker route. This is a shame, since Hornswoggle from WWE fame could have been a great comedic successor to the throne of Warwick Davis's original wee little leprechaun. This one sees four college friends vacationing in Ireland where they study a monolith. At a bar, they meet an old man named Hamish, who tells them the village's history as a mining center for gold. They are all joined up with Hamish's grouchy son Sean to the cavern where the gold mining happened. A mysterious vicious figure starts stealing gold from the group like a gold tongue ring and picks them off one at a time. This character, however, is not named Seamus and is more or less just a creature seen in the shadows, killing off a bunch of college students without the goofy charm of the original, making this the least in the series to me. I appreciate the thought of going into an Origins route with the series, but it is a missed opportunity without going the route to discover the vicious comedic Seamus's background. Up next is Leprechaun Back to the Hood, which is a 2003 follow-up to 2000's Leprechaun in the Hood. This is the last entry to star Warwick Davis as the villainous leprechaun Seamus P. McTierney. This entry sees the wee little wicked leprechaun stalking a group of youths using his gold to fulfill their dreams. This movie does a unique thing in showing an animated prologue revealing Seamus's origins as a king summons him to protect his gold. A pastor finds the gold and tries to use it to build a youth center, but hands drag him underground. A year later, a group of friends are told by a clairvoyant named Esmeralda, who warns them that with great wealth they'll also soon obtain paying the price of being stalked by the terrible evil force that is known as Seamus. Seamus does what he does best, killing greedy teens. This movie does not hold the punch of the originals and is the weakest of the original franchise run. It would be 11 more years before any other Leprechauns film filled the void, as this is definitely running out of steam by this point. Up next is Leprechaun in the Hood from 2000 as Warwick Davis returns this time looking for a magic flute that was stolen. This film was released as direct-to-video and brings Ice-T as a character named Mac Daddy Onassis, who with his buddy Slug discovers a hidden room full of gold and a statue of a leprechaun with a medallion around its neck. Slug nabs the medallion from Seamus, who is freed, killing Slug. How's that for gratitude? Mac Daddy traps Seamus with the flute. Fast forward 20 years, and a group of wannabe rap artists attempt to continue to convince Mac Daddy as a record producer to pick them up. He refuses, and the friends break into his office to rob it. Mac Daddy is shot as he discovers the robbery, and the gold flute is stolen by them, and the amulet too, and accidentally frees the little wee Irish terror. A step up from the sequel that would follow, but that isn't saying much, but Ice-T helps bring some star power to the mix. Now up next is definitely the most bizarro acid trip of all the bizarre world of the Leprechaun movies with this flick called Leprechaun 4 in Space from 1997. Out of all the Leprechaun movies, this one takes more of a sci-fi feel than the usual standard horror fare, as this time Seamus McTierney boards a spaceship with intentions of marrying an alien princess named Zaria. He wishes to wed her, only to become king of her home planet after he kills her on her wedding night. The princess wishes to kill Seamus for his golden jewels on their wedding night. Well, at least they have something in common. His plans are thwarted when he is killed by space marines with a grenade. The odd way he comes back through jumping up a space marine's junk while he pees on his body and comes out as the marine has sex will make you want to shower for days. He then goes on to kill most of the crew. What follows is some truly strange scenes with a half-cyborg named Dr. Mittenhands who tries to use Zarina's DNA to recreate his own body. The cyborg doctor then is turned into a blended scorpion-tarantula robot mix thanks to the leprechaun injecting him with a scorpion and a tarantula's remains and the DNA of Zarina. He truly is nightmare fuel. The truly goofy and convoluted plot is worth a look out of the morbid curiosity of the whole thing, but man does it stray from the source's continuity, landing it halfway on this list. From space, we now go to Vegas for 1995's Leprechaun 3. You don't see Seamus McTierney joining a group of nuns to save a loud-singing Whoopi Goldberg in this flick. However, you do get a down-on-his-luck college student named Scott, who gambles away all his money and goes to a pawn shop to trade his Rolex for cash. Scott discovers the owner's lifeless body on the floor as the owner set the leprechaun free that someone sold him earlier by taking its statue's medallion off. Scott takes the leprechaun coin, which grants him one wish. Scott wishes for a winning streak. The coin is stolen later by two casino employees. The leprechaun attacks Scott, their blood mixes, and Scott starts to transform into a leprechaun. He transformed back to his human form by battling the leprechaun and burning its pot of gold. This being the first direct-to-video film, you can really tell the series is in a decline and is getting too convoluted in plot. However, it was the highest-grossing direct-to-video film for 1995, so in the words of Bill Murray's Carl Spackler, it's got that going for it, which is nice. Up next, we have Leprechaun 2 from 1994. This was the final movie of the series that went theatrical. In this movie, Seamus is celebrating his 1000th birthday. Funny he doesn't look a day over 999. The little green fart tells William O'Day, a man he enslaved, that he'll grant him his freedom once the leprechaun marries the perfect bride. The leprechaun chooses O'Day's daughter as his bride. Talk about your awkward Thanksgivings. O'Day is killed by Evil Lucky once O'Day refuses to give up his daughter. Seamus then vows to marry an O'Day descendant on the next 1000th birthday he has. Well, the little dude has patience, if anything. Fast forward to present day, and a young man named Cody gives dark side tours in L.A. with his scheming Uncle Morty. Cody has a girlfriend named Bridget, which Seamus the sinister shorty emerges from a tree to stalk, seeing how she is an O'Day descendant. The little lecherous leprechaun stalks her while killing as a side hobby along the way. Uncle Morty captures Seamus in a safe, and Uncle Morty demands 3 wishes from him. Uncle Morty gets a pot of gold he wishes for, but it manifests in his stomach, and the little fart says he can remove the pot of gold from Uncle Morty once Uncle Morty wishes him free from the safe. Once wished free, Seamus, the stinky little sinister dude that he is, removes the pot from Uncle Morty's stomach by ripping Uncle Morty's guts open, killing him instantly. Robin Williams is the genie, he is not. Eventually, Seamus captures Bridget and takes her to his lair to be his bride. Cody kills the leprechaun by staking him with a cast-iron rod and running off with Bridget to kiss in the sunlight. This edition ramps up the writing and humor from the original and keeps things simple compared to what were to be to come, but it still lacks the original's lucky charms. See what I did there? Now we have Leprechaun Returns, that debuted on the Sci-Fi Channel in 2018. This movie gets back to its roots as we see Mark Holden return as Ozzie Jones, and we get mention of Jennifer Aniston's character, Tori Redding. Her daughter Lila, played by Taylor Spreitler, hitches a ride with Ozzie once arriving at Devil's Lake to help greenify the same old house from the original film, which the sorority she is in now owns. Lila mentions her mother has passed away years ago due to cancer. Lila meets her other sorority sisters. Meanwhile, the leprechaun realizes his powers are too weak due to his lack of gold and determines killing will restore his powers. It's always good to have a plan B. The leprechaun goes on his killing spree. Unfortunately, Ozzie doesn't last too long in this movie and is killed off by the little green D-bag. The ghost of Ozzie, however, helps Lila and her remaining group find a treasure map. In the end, Lila manages to kill the Lucky Charms reject by surrounding his feet with gold and electrocuting him, blowing up the house in the process. However, the leprechaun lives and hitches a ride on a chicken truck to retain his gold. The return of Ozzy in the original house, plus the nods to Aniston's old character and overall good acting by Taylor as Aniston's daughter, raises this flick higher on the list. Unfortunately, the original Leprechaun Seamus McTierney does not return, neither does Warwick Davis portraying him. Instead, we do get an all-new Leprechaun named Labdon, played by Lyndon Porco, who does a serviceable job, who also doubled as the Chucky doll in Cult of Chucky. And finally, the greatest of all the Leprechauns is, of course, Leprechaun. Surprised? The original Leprechaun, which came out in 1993, stars Jennifer Aniston as Tori Redding, Warwick Davis as the titular Leprechaun Seamus McTierney, and Mark Holden as Ozzy. This marks Aniston's film debut. The film starts in 1983 as Dan O'Grady returns to his home in North Dakota from a trip to his native country of Ireland. O'Grady stole a pot of gold from the leprechaun, and the ever-vengeful little fart murders O'Grady's wife. O'Grady himself suffers a stroke before he can kill off the sinister wee little Seamus. Fast forward 10 years, and J.D. Redding and his teen daughter, Tori, rent the O'Grady farmhouse for the summer season. Nathan Murphy, his 10-year-old brother Alex, and slow but well-meaning goofball Ozzy help repaint it as hired contractors. Ozzy discovers the leprechaun in the basement and accidentally frees him from the crate that has held him trapped with four-leaf clovers for the past 10 years. What ensues is a lot of corny jokes aplenty and rhymes from the mean green little fart. The wee menace goes on killing as the group of teens try to get help from O'Grady to find out how to kill him. O'Grady informs them that four-leaf clovers are the only way to kill him off, and a big bunch grows outside the farmhouse. Alex kills Seamus McTierney just before he is about to kill Ozzy, who accidentally swallowed one of the leprechaun's coins. After being shot in the mouth with a four-leaf clover, Nathan pushes him down the well and lights the well with gasoline on fire. The original introduces how to kill the leprechaun, but the rules would change throughout the series. This one keeps it fairly simple with fun jokes thrown into the mix before later sequels convoluted the plot, making it the best of the lot. Well, that about does it for me, Preston E. Have a great Patty's Day, lads and lasses, and I must declare, I want me likes, subs, and shares.